I am here for my next episode of Stuck in Traffic. I'm really excited. I am going to be meeting Ingrid Kelada. Ingrid is an industrial or organizational psychologist, and she has written a great book called 21 Days to Happiness. Yay, happiness! Everybody loves happiness. And she's going to be talking to us all about that and how it applies to work and how it applies to, your everyday life. Here she is. Hello.
Hi.
Ingrid. Get in. It is freezing.
I love the winter.
We are very brave, don't you think?
Yes, especially since I have a place nice and warm. So why am I here?
Yes, I am so thrilled that you could make it.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yes.
This is a first for me. It's so exciting.
Well, I was kind of stalking you, I have to admit, on social media.
How did you find me?
I was following you, I think, on Instagram at one point.
Okay.
And I loved all the different tips and tools and what you were saying and what you were doing. And I discovered your book.
Cool.
21 Days to Happiness. And I said, oh, that sounds like a really interesting book. Who doesn't want to read or learn about happiness, right?
Yeah, in 3 weeks.
Exactly. And it was really a fast read, and I loved it. And I said, I want to meet her. What I do know about you is that you're an organizational or industrial psychologist, as they're sometimes called.
Yes.
And you've written this book on happiness. You're a happiness expert.
I think so.
How great is that?
I keep asking my husband, am I really a happiness person? He's like, absolutely.
And so what brought you to that? Why happiness? I mean, why not? But
yeah, no, it was really not unplanned. I was working with top performers in different kinds of organizations and interviewing leaders and working with top high performing teams. And out of the blue, I realized all of these people have one thing in common. They seem to be happy. And then I was wondering, does happiness come before success, or does success create happiness? So I got intrigued, and I found that actually happier people attract success because they're solution minded, they're good with people, they're high energy, happy people. It's actually biochemical. It makes you literally physically happy to be near someone happy.
Right.
And
I believe that.
Right? Do you feel it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So how did you get into this? I mean, tell me a little bit about where you come from. Were you born here in Montreal?
Well, long story short, I was born in Egypt, which is probably why I don't like the cold. Got here when I was 7 months old.
Oh,
and so, the typical Mediterranean close-knit family, mom, dad, brother, sister.
3 of you?
No, I'm the sister. So
okay, 2 kids.
Yeah, 2 kids. So we're 4. And dad was a university professor. My brother's a CJEP professor. My mom's a high school professor, and I do training in companies. So family of devoted. We love
teachers.
To teach and help and guide. I think that's in the DNA.
So I see where that came from.
It was written in the sky. So basically, I studied psychology because I wanted to be an audiologist to help kids that have speech and hearing challenges. But I discovered I didn't know about business psychology. I didn't even know it existed. And then it was organizational psychology, and then the teacher started speaking, and a light came down onto my head from the sky, and I went, oh my gosh, the fascination with people at work. Right. It was solution oriented, it was pragmatic, it was, and we're at work like, a half of our life. And then I really saw that a lot of high performers and successful people have a great energy. They're inspiring, it's contagious.
Right.
And I looked in the mirror, and that was sort of my energy as well,
Right.
to be honest with you. So that's why I fell into that happiness soup, and I was so excited to discover the science behind happiness. And
Right. And you were really drawn to it, I can see.
very, very, very.
But your home life must have given you some of that happiness gene, no? Don't you feel
Yes.
that must have come from...
Absolutely. I mean, in the book, I mentioned that part of it is genetic, part of it is the situation. Do you have a nice house? Do you have a good job? And only 10%, by the way, is your circumstances. You know how we always have these objectives of, falling in love and having the house and the kids and the job and the car and the vacations, but all of that is just 10% of your
Right.
happiness, including your health.
Right.
Even
right.
some sick people are really happy,
Yeah.
and some healthy people are unhappy. So even
Absolutely.
your health is not that important, although we all, want health for ourselves and our family.
Right.
And so there's the genetics, yes, there's the circumstances, but then your habits are 40%. So that's still a
Okay.
huge chunk.
Right. So break it down for me. What is it? It's 40% your habits?
Yeah, 50% is your predisposition, and 10 are your
Circumstances.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
Yeah.
Right.
We all can be our own way, by the way. Some people don't have to be jumping up and down, and there's different forms of happiness. There's Zen happiness. There's peace of mind, etc. So we all can have a direct impact. We can be proactive, and that was the great news.
Right.
For example, if you take chapter day 2, I think, is music.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of
I
us,
love that one.
all right?
I
A
love
lot
that
of
one.
us enjoy music, but to know that there's a science that certain types of songs and certain, types of music playing it a certain way at a certain time can change your whole day.
Oh my God, yes. And I have to show you something. I have a
What?
surprise for you because
Right?
isn't this amazing, this song?
Can you be depressed and listen to it?
And I saw on your list, because you had a playlist.
I did.
You had a playlist.
My happy
related.
playlist. I called
Yes.
the HPL.
Yes. And
Right?
that was the first song. And I went and listened to it and I said, I love this song.
Right?
I get it. I
Right?
get it. You can't be unhappy. You
Impossible.
can't be in a bad mood.
Impossible, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, some people will be a little more physical. How to eat for happiness, how to sleep for happiness. Some it'll be more relationship. There's a chapter on relationships.
Yeah, I really loved that chapter on relationships. I thought it was really interesting how important that is, and how maybe it's neglected, right? Maybe it's not something that we
because
really...
of work, we're a lot of us are job focused, and we have happiness right under our nose at home.
Yeah.
I quote a study in there. I think you knew about this experiment at Harvard, which I think it was a 75-year-old study, one of the longest studies in psychology, where they followed young men, and now these are older gentlemen, much older, and they interview them around what's the one, what are your regrets, or what is one thing you would do differently. And there's also a nurse who wrote a book who interviewed people who were on their deathbeds. And both those studies converge at the only one thing that really makes a huge difference is, do I feel loved? Do I share my time with friends and loved ones or not? I mean, if I had to simplify the two studies, it's really around being the people we care about, and there's a mix of being with them, but also if you take another chapter I have on kindness, is when you feel that you're being generous, actually giving something we found scientifically is that you feel even more happy than the person receiving it. So relationships combined with kindness, and don't get me into gratitude. Yeah, you want a
Yeah.
nice trio, you know what I'm saying? At the end
Yeah.
of your day, just, you were kind and you're feeling proud and you're rewinding the video of your day and you're like, oh my gosh, what an amazing day. I got to help someone. I got to be with someone I loved. All of that combined, and it's so easy. It's just about carving out a bit more time.
And I know obviously you're applying this in the workplace, right? That's
course.
really what the most of your work is, right?
And I just launched a few weeks ago a whole e-learning 21 Days to Happiness online training. So this is something that I'm bringing into the workplace, and a lot of employers that want to be employers of choice, that want to be, these days there's a war on talent, and if you want to attract
absolutely.
people, you have to tell them what you're doing for them and what they're getting, because they're getting other offers.
And maybe what you're doing differently, because
Exactly.
if you can't really compare favorably,
Right.
you're going to lose out
And
as an
it
employer.
can't just be money. Okay, how much can we
Yeah.
offer you? And want the iPhone, they want the pool table, they want flex time. So if you're saying, well, we're offering a happiness program right away,
Wow.
people are intrigued, and it really,
Absolutely.
you're giving them, you're showing them your values and that you value your employees.
So what is it? What's it going to be?
It's
You're
a
saying a happiness
e-learning
program.
Yeah, it's online. It's similar to the book, but it's highly interactive. So it's videos and drag and drop. So you learn a bit about the same 21 tips as in the book.
Okay.
But then you get quizzes, and then you practice, and you click on a video, and you get the apps downloaded right onto your
Right,
phone.
right.
I compare it to offering a gym membership. I mean, it's a perk. It shows that I want health, but it's completely different.
So-
And feeling better is not only amazing for your health and you're a better version of yourself, so your people skills are better, but also you're more productive. So
I bet.
you just can't lose
I
with
bet.
working on this one skill. I see happiness almost as a skill. I say, don't be happy, do happy.
Right.
Do things that make you happy.
Right. And do you see happiness? Because I think a lot of people think it's really elusive. Like, is it a journey or is it a destination? I guess.
Right. And it's really being happy now. So it's
over
ongoing.
and over
It's
and
ongoing,
over again,
yeah.
right?
And it's
Yeah.
almost like, when we plan a vacation, how the planning is just as exciting as the vacation, and
Yeah.
after the vacation, talking about the vacation
Yeah.
and showing. So
Right.
so that's sort of what happiness is, if I had an analogy.
Right.
It's, planning, like dreaming and setting goals, and then visualizing, and then making progress, and all of that combined is me being happy, doing happy, designing my life. So at any age, you can redesign your life. Like for
Right.
me, for example, I decided that 12 days every month I'm going to work from my condo in Florida.
Good for you.
And some people are like, oh, you're so lucky you could do that. And I said, no, I'm not lucky, because I don't know anyone else who's an entrepreneur or a psychologist or a trainer who leaves for 12 days. So I created that. I invented that.
Right.
And they go, oh, you're right. It's
And
not
why
luck.
not?
It's not luck. You
No.
figured it out,
Right.
But really doing what you love and doing what you're great at is a huge part of, waking up happy. I think that we can all agree.
I just think that work, I always say this to people, work is such a huge part of your life. You can't deny that
Yes.
you're spending how many hours
Yes.
in that space,
Yes.
in that frame of mind,
Right.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so you have to make the best of it, for God's sake,
Yeah.
because you're going to be doing it for how many hours
I
of
know.
your entire life?
I know.
You might as well be doing something that you can really get behind and be excited about.
Every job, there's some good parts and bad parts, no matter what. Just by shifting your focus without even changing jobs, already your happiness shifted
Absolutely.
automatically.
Because your perception is everything.
Finally, right?
Yes. But you have a great energy about you.
I do.
mean,
I have a
wow.
lot of energy.
Wow.
Let me tell you
can
that.
feel it. You kind of glow. So your husband's right when he tells you you've got it going on.
I feel amazing. I do.
Well, thanks so much for coming.
Oh, thank you.
I know that it's so
Thank you
close
for having
to the
me
holidays.
as a guest, and I loved riding with
Did
you.
you?
This was fun.